this is the Obregons. We just went on a trip to Italy, and we're making a podcast about the cities we went to. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so Diego, what is the first city we visited?
Rome.
Dominic, what was different than you expected?
Well, when I visited Rome, I didn't feel like I was in Italy until I saw some different things, like all the cobbled roads and some different car brands. That made me think I was more in Italy. And also when we saw some of the archaeological sites. Anyway, I thought that it felt different to me, like the Colosseum and the Trevi Fountain. It was really cool.
Do you have anything else to add, Antonio, about what you didn't expect?
No.
Okay. Diego, what was your favorite part of Rome besides the cars?
Probably all the structures and monuments and the gelato. Those things, and definitely the Colosseum, and maybe some of the
archaeological
sites.
Okay. Antonio, what was your favorite part of the Colosseum?
Looking down at where the soldiers and stuff would fight.
Yeah, like the place where all the gladiators were.
Isn't that kind of maze at the bottom?
Yeah, they would flood that place so they could play sea battles. So, on our trip, we actually visited 2 countries because we visited the Vatican as well. So, when did we first visit the Vatican?
Well, we first looked around in our first day at Rome. We kind of saw the outside of St. Peter's and everything. All the pillars.
Dominic, when did we first, how was the Wednesday audience like?
The Wednesday audience was well, I can't exactly remember what the Wednesday audience was. The Pope was, reading something, and there were lots of people all around, and we came and listened, and that was the first time we saw the Pope.
Yeah, the Pope gave us a blessing. And Antonio, what did we see in the Vatican Museum?
Lots of painting on the ceiling. Statues.
We saw
there was a zoo, but it wasn't exactly a zoo because they weren't actual animals, they were statues and sculptures.
Imagine back then seeing a sculpture of a lion was amazing and incredible.
And also there were very nice gardens.
Yeah, Dominic, what was the Sistine Chapel like?
The Sistine Chapel, it was kind of like this. So we had to walk through all of these. They're kind of like a tunnel in the Vatican Museum. And there's the map room, and it shows all the maps, which 80% of them are accurate. And then you keep going, and then you'll eventually be in this place, which is the Sistine Chapel. And I think that every now and then there's this guy who goes like this. Silence. Silencio. Shh. No photos. No videos. And then he just repeats that.
What was the big famous statue that we saw?
The Pieta?
Yeah. Did you know that the Mary in the Pieta, her legs are very disproportioned so that she can hold Jesus.
Yeah, like if you saw her standing up without Jesus on her, she'd have very big legs.
Yeah. Like 10 feet tall, maybe. So, Antonio, what was the next city we went to after we went to Rome and the Vatican?
San Giovanni Rotondo.
And how did we get there?
A train.
Yeah.
And a bus.
So, Dominic, what's really special about San Giovanni Rotondo?
Well, if you know about the city San Giovanni Rotondo, everyone always says, like, San Giovanni just is instantly Padre Pio. Like, they don't sound the same at all, but it's like, if someone ever hears the word San Giovanni Rotondo, they're just like Padre Pio. And we got to see him there, and it was a bit of a confusion. So there's this first church, and he was supposed to be there, but he wasn't. And then we asked one of the holy men, and they said that he was in this other church, and it was very close, just like a little walk. And on the way there were these 12 olive trees, which represent the apostles. No, not 12. What's 12 times 2? 24. 12 for the 12 apostles and 12 for the 12 prophets. And then inside of that, it's like this really cool modern church. And in this crypt underground, it's all these golden mosaics and really beautiful. And then behind some glass, there's Padre Pio. And they moved him there because it's a bigger church, and it was just his feast day, and they had to hold lots of people because they all want to come and see him on his same day.
So, Padre Pio is an amazing saint. He has lots of miracles that have happened because of him. And also, Dominic didn't mention this, he's dead right now. So, he's not talking to us and like that. But he's incorrupt, so we can still see him. So, Diego, we got to see what relics of Padre Pio did we see on the way?
Well, we saw some different of his robes, and we saw some of his hair and his rosaries, and we even saw his room.
Yeah, like the little cell that he stayed in when he was a friar. So, and then Antonio, what about the place that we had the best dinner ever?
Well, this place in San Giovanni, it's like you go through a big maze, and it's like a fast, and you think it's a very cheap fast food place. Well, it turned out to be amazing, and that was the best place.
Yeah, they keep bringing you at all these different things. Dominic, can you talk about like what they give you, how it's like?
So, it seems like always in Italy, the most unexpected places have the best food ever. Like, you have to go through this huge winding maze of thin little streets to come to this place that you can barely recognize as a restaurant. And then inside there's no menu. Let's just say you want pasta, and then for an appetizer, which is more like which is a huge feast, and then by the time you eat all the appetizer, it's like you're pretty much full. it's like they keep bringing you these dishes, and it's like potatoes with bread all cooked together, and they sound strange, but they're very, very delicious. And then at the end, you probably wish you didn't eat so much appetizer, because the pasta is just better than ever you could ever. It's like they bring us 2 dishes of pasta, one's vegetarian, one has meat, and it's just like the best pasta in the world.
And it's like you're invited to their house, but the host is the very professional trained chef. And Nano, what was your favorite gelato? What flavor? After 8, the chocolate and mint one. Okay, and then in the next segment we'll tell you about Procida. So this is the next segment. Diego, what was the next city that we went to?
It isn't exactly a city, it's an island called Procida, and it's off the coast of Italy. It's very, very small.
Yes, Dominic, how did we get to Procida?
Okay, so we got there first by we went on a bus ride, then we went on a train, then we took a taxi, and then we were on the hydrofoil, and we were at the front, and there was like nobody there, and that's because it's like super bumpy at the front. Then we were all feeling, we were just nauseous, feeling seasick. So we went to the only one who was feeling good was our parents, and of course my brother John, and he went to the back to see how it was like there, and it was much more steady. So we all moved to the back, and then it was kind of hard because it was too late. Our hotel office had already closed, and so we had to phone them. And after a lot of commotion, we finally got in our hotel. And then what it showed in the website was totally different. It's like we had reserved 2 rooms, and yeah, it's kind of weird. Anyway, we got there safe and sound, and then we moved into an Airbnb.
Yeah. So, Diego, which beaches did we go to?
Well, we went to 2 different beaches. One of them was more of like a big, wide, warm beach, and there were lots of fish, and it's quite shallow. And then we also went to this other beach on the other side, which was very warm, which was very, very wavy, like there were huge waves.
Yeah. Then which beach do we go to next?
And then we went back to the other beach, and it kind of switched around.
Yeah.
To the warm beach. The warm beach.
Yeah. Dominic, remember the old church in Procida? Can you talk about the penitentiary?
Oh yeah. So there's this place where we were actually once, there's this gelato place. It was closed, so we went to this other one, and then there's this very friendly tourist, and he gave us some cat treats and told us about there are these. It's like a bunch of prisons, and there are lots and lots and lots of kitties. And then we fed treats to them and pet them, and yeah, that was very fun. And we got to see all the big ruins, and yeah, very, very beautiful. warm, sunny.
And there was also that church, the very old abbey. Diego, can you tell about that?
Well, there was kind of like there's a big monastery and then that prison that Dominic talked about. There's also this really beautiful church called St. Michael's. It's kind of like a small little village up there and in the middle of, there's that church. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, and Dominic, what was your favorite part of Procida?
Probably the beaches, and then at the beach, we just stayed in there for hours and hours. It was so relaxing, and I got some really cool shells, and I also, when we were at the beach, thankfully there's this little restaurant, and so we got some sandwiches, and it was just, there's also this place in Procida where that's different foods, and they are just so good. I got a hamburger, and it was out of this world. You couldn't find anything like that here.
Yeah, the seafood is very good at Procida. And Diego, what other food do they grow there?
They grow lots and lots of lemons.
Yeah. So there were we saw lemons, like very big lemons, not exactly the size of grapefruits, but bigger than you'd expect. And I think that's it for Procida. So now in this segment, we're going to talk about Pompeii and Assisi. So, Dominic, what was your favorite part of Pompeii?
Well, it's really cool because we didn't expect it to be a huge, all these different mazy streets and everything. So we didn't expect that, and then we arrived and we didn't see all of it yet, so we thought it was it's a bit kind of small, and then we kept seeing more and more. It's you definitely couldn't see all of it in one day. It's just huge, and it's really cool. And there are these cobbled streets, really big cobblestone, and there are these not sure when, but they flood the streets, and that cleans them, and then then there are these stones, so you can get across without getting your shoes wet. And also, there's a standard size for chariot wheels, and that way you can actually see grooves in the rock, and that's from all the lots of wagons and chariots go past, and over time it kind of cuts away at the rock. And the wheels fit right in between the rocks, so they don't scrape against or anything.
Diego, what cool things do we see in the ruins?
Well, there are a lot of counters with really cool marble in them. There's also some frescoes and mosaics. The mosaics are very cool. It's instead of a lot of bigger tiles, there's more a lot of smaller tiles. Yeah, they're very realistic.
And Antonio, what was your favorite part of the ruins?
Well, once I just went out, I just seeing it how big one is. Well, I went through a passage, and then there's another split off. I went through one way, and it went into a pretty big room. Then it went the other way, then it split off into two walls with just flat concrete. I think there were a few frescoes or something.
Yeah, they're
and then I went back out.
Yeah, they're very complicated. very, like Dominic said, mazy.
Yeah.
And Diego, can you talk about what you got at the shop there?
Oh yeah. So right outside Pompeii, there were some shops, like mostly jewelry shops, and I got an amethyst pendant, and it's really beautiful. Also, around there, they sell lots of coral jewelry.
Yeah, and they usually sculpt it into like red peppers. And now we're going to talk about Assisi. So, Antonio, when did we visit Assisi?
I'm not exactly sure which day because, like, just when I got there, I was like, okay. And then it was like day after day passed, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna live here forever. And I didn't keep track of the days at all until we went. Well, I'm not really sure of it.
So, no, I don't mean which day. It's just did we go to Assisi when we were staying at San Giovanni or
Oh, okay. So it was so we went to Rome, then we went to kind of like in the Vatican in it, then we went to Assisi, and then we went on and on.
Yeah. So we went on a one-day trip to Assisi while we were staying in Rome. And Dominic, how was Assisi like?
Well, it's like they call it I think it's a UNESCO. Yeah, and it's like all these ruins, but they're kind of very, very well preserved. And Assisi, you may think of Saint Francis of Assisi, and his church is there. It's a huge, beautiful church, and there's lots of different paintings on the walls and ceilings, and it's super beautiful. And there's also in a little place underneath the church, it's another one of those churches with a tomb of the person who named the church under there. So Saint Francis of Assisi, he is actually buried under the church, and there are some pews down there, and you can go see his actual, like, there's this big thing with Jesus, and very amazing.
And Nano, which gelato did we have in Assisi? Nano? Hazelnut. Did you like it?
Yes.
Okay. And so we're done the podcast. Goodbye.
Bye. Ciao. Ciao.